Hi folks, what's up? Will back once again. We're back for a big one here for 2020 UFC 246 McGregor versus Cowboy. And yeah, this is the second time I'm making it, this video. I literally made it within the last 45 minutes. And for some reason, comments aren't allowed, which was a little bit weird. I couldn't put in any of the settings where I could put my picks in. So I'm just a little bit unsure, so I thought I'd just come on and make the fight picks again. If everything's okay in the chat, let me know. If you can, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and be notified when my videos go live. I'm looking forward to getting into the predictions for 2020 because we've had a bit of a break. But please, if you're in the chat, just try and leave a comment so I can see you guys are there. So yeah, looking into this one, I think it's going to be a really fun card. Any of you guys in the chat, can you leave anything, say anything at all, just to see if you guys are there? Because I really want to hear your guys' opinions on this card as well, so let me know. But like I said, I think it's going to be a fun card. Just thoroughly looking forward to getting back into prediction, seeing some fights. Obviously, Conor McGregor's back, so that's always a big thing. And overall, it's a decent fight card with some decent fights kind of scattered throughout. But Kevin, my man, thank you for saying that. Like, at least I know that you guys in chat can get involved as well. But yeah, like I say, I think it's going to be a fun fight card. I've got a couple of bets already. If you watched my early insight video, you would have seen that I've changed. You'll probably find out I've changed some of my picks over here. So I'm going to get into it right now. But I appreciate everybody for, even if this is the second time you guys come in and have a look, I appreciate that. So yeah, we're going to start off in the women's flyweight division. We've got Sabina Mazo against JJ Aldridge. So like I say, if you watched that video from a couple of weeks ago where I give my early insight into the pay-per-view cards, you were probably seeing I was leaning with JJ Aldridge. In a matchup I'm not super confident in either person here, I'm going to pick Sabina Mazo actually. The reason I'm kind of doing that because I think JJ's kind of hit that kind of stale, not stale, but I think she's not going to be any one of these fights that's going to get supremely better. Where I think Sabina Mazo has more things in her arsenal that can make her a better fighter. I think she can make bigger jumps in her skill gap over the next few fights, and I think this could be the beginning of that. Like I say, Mazo, not super dangerous really in any aspect. She's got some decent kicks. I think she can win the fight in the clinch if she can get it there. Aldridge may be able to get a takedown or two in spots. I don't think she'll keep Mazo down there. I think if I'm Aldridge, I'll try and push her against the cage and maybe try and just fight dirty pretty much down in there. So yeah, it's a close fight. I can see why it's minus 110 apiece. It's a tough fight to feel super confident in any kind of real area of the fight. But if you get JJ at plus money, I don't think that'd be a bad bet, honestly, because like I say, Mazo's not a world beater, and this pick here is really made off me not being super confident. But I've kind of went on to Sabina Mazo on this side here. I think that if she can land a decent shot, she might be able to stop the kind of momentum of JJ Aldridge. And like I say, I've got Sabina for the win. I'm going to pick her via decision, but wouldn't surprise me if JJ won that fight. Brian Kelleher against Ode Osborne. I like Ode Osborne in this spot. I've actually went and bet him. I got him at plus 100. I think I bet him, geez, I'm coming on nearly 2 weeks. He's like minus 125 now, so I've got some good dog odds there. And when I watched this guy, like I said on the inside video a few weeks ago, kind of reminds me a little bit of Conor McGregor, not with the way he's power strike or anything, but he picks his shots very well, can fight at distance. He's got a superior reach advantage here. Doesn't throw all that much output, but what he does throw, he lands very hard. And Kelleher, to me, I think he has to get in close here. He has to get in close to get his damaging shots off, because if he sits back at distance, I think that he will get popped at distance by Osborne. I like his movement. I like his slight movement on his feet. He's very light-footed, is what I'm trying to say, actually. And like Kelleher, to me, if you look on his Twitter, he's already gone on and saying yeah, I'm not dropping the weight, it's not coming off. Do you want to fight at a different weight? I'm doing 3 sessions a day, and I'm like, oh, that's not a good look a couple of weeks out from my fight. So, Keller, to me, he's probably thinking more about his weight than the actual fight in the meantime. I just like Osborne, and plus 100 when I saw those odds, I thought I had to get on this now. I knew the odds were going to change. And like I say, some of the things I've seen him off his back submit guys, and I've seen him when he picks those nice body shots out with his kicks, that he can hurt dudes as well, and look very, very good in Dana's show. So I've got Odie Osborne actually to win via knockout in the middle to the late part of this fight here. So I'll go probably a third round knockout for Osborne in that one there. Nice to see you guys. I just got a couple of people there. I don't know what was going on with the previous video where I couldn't comment, I couldn't see your comments, and so on and so on. So it's nice to see. But if you can, give me a thumbs up and let's get this channel rocking, and try and see if we can build the channel for 2020. I really do appreciate it. Tim Elliott against Askar. Askarov. This was a fight where initially I thought I was leaning Askarov, and then I went back and watched the Moreno fight where I thought that, like, I've always been a bit of a fan, but I thought that he lost that fight, honestly. And I think I bet Askarov in that spot, so I was kind of lucky to get away with getting my money back. But both guys aren't really that good in the feet. This is a fight I think made for DraftKings. If you can try and find the winner of this one here, you'll be absolutely set, because I think there's bound to be takedowns, there's bound to be scrambles, there's bound to be positions where they can accumulate a lot of points there. Askarov, like I said, I think his main trait there, if he can find the back of Tim Elliott, he could potentially submit Tim Elliott. But Elliott's been a guy that's been around for the longest time, had bigger fights than what Askarov has, been in bigger spots, and I just see this being really close. Now, I can see Askarov getting takedowns, which is whether he can find his way to the back. But as of now, what's up, Jimmy? I can see myself, I think I'm going to go with Tim Elliott. I think this is a close fight, though. No real confidence in the pick. I'm going to sit back and watch. I think it's close to pick 'em odds, actually, in the meantime. Let me just check this here. Yeah, so my plus 105, minus 125. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to go Tim Elliott. I feel more confident picking him. It's not a super confident pick, but I'm going to go Tim Elliott via... Actually, I'm going to go via split decision. I think that one's going to be super close. Aleksei Camur against Justin Ledet. Before I really delved into watching fights on this fight specifically, I thought Aleksei was going to win. Not anymore. I've actually bet Justin Ledet. I got him, I don't know when it was, maybe a week, 8-9 days ago. I got him at plus 120, and I've bet him at plus 120. Now, I know that there's going to be some probably stick coming my way for picking Justin Ledet after specifically his last two performances, but when you look at those last two guys that he lost to, in Rakic and Johnny Walker, I think they both beat Aleksei in this spot here. When I look at Aleksei, he doesn't really come from a MMA background. It comes from actually a skateboarder and lacrosse background. So that's interesting. He's got videos here on YouTube of tutorials and stuff like that, of him doing stuff with his skateboard. But when I seen him in the Dana White Contender Show, fought a guy who's been fighting cans, if we're being honest with, like 4-13 records. You should be facing better caliber of opposition for that. Looks a little bit blown up. I don't think he's a natural 205er. I think he would fit in well at 185. Ledet, like I say, he's not looked good, and he's been a guy that it's hard to really keep an eye on, because you look on his social media and he's not been posting anything. Like I say, he had those two losses, got completely dominated by Rakic, got absolutely blasted by Johnny Walker. But Johnny Walker's the type of guy, it's all about who gets the shot off first, and Johnny Walker got his shot first. Fair play to him. Ledet, I mean, he's wins in the UFC, Zoo and Wayu, Chase Sherman, Mark Godbeer. Nothing to really ring out about, but uses his boxing well, keeps a jab out there, and I think that's what he can do here. Aleksei, when you see him, he's very raw, very green, very explosive, very kind of powerful, and yeah, I just think that this is a fight that Justin Ledet can win, especially when he was at plus 120. Now he's at plus 105, I think. He's probably going to end up being favourite by fight time, not unless somebody big puts money on Aleksei here. But I've got Justin Ledet, maybe via TKO, but I've got more towards decision win here. But I think some stick may come my way for betting Justin Ledet. I think I've seen people on Twitter going off at other guys betting Justin Ledet, but I just think the odds that he was at, I think this is a good matchup for him here, because like I said, Aleksei, he's okay, but outside of that, I don't think he's great when I watch him. So yeah, Justin Ledet for me is in the win in that one there. Moving on to the prelims, we've got Chaz Skelly against Grant Dawson. Initially, I thought Chaz Skelly had a lot more of a chance in that. I mean, at plus 230, he's a viable underdog. But when you go back and watch some of his fights, the guy can be taken down easy. And what's Grant Dawson's game? He's kind of action, pressure, getting takedowns, getting you to the mat. Won't ultimately keep you there, but you can get numerous takedowns against Chaz Skelly. It's something that has always shown up in his UFC tenure, that you can get this guy down. He's got a very bad percentage for takedown defense in the UFC. I think it's like 30%. And against someone like Dawson, who really goes, doesn't stop, I think that's a recipe for disaster. He's getting on. He's not the youngest cat in that division anymore. I think he's been fighting injuries. Pretty nice guy, actually. Listen to top fight breakdown fights. But I just think that Grant Dawson's going to be too much. I think his pace is going to be too much now. I wouldn't rule out Chaz Skelly maybe getting into a position where he maybe gets Grant Dawson in a really bad position where he can get a submission or so on. I just think that Grant Dawson eventually, kind of into the second round, is going to start to break Chaz Skelly, and ultimately I think that's where he gets the win here. So I'm actually going to pick Grant Dawson to submit Chaz Skelly in this one. I think when it goes into the late second, early third round, I think he can find a way to the back or get a choke and take out Chaz Skelly. So Grant Dawson via submission in that one for me there. Drew Dober against Nasrat Haqparast is up next. I think the line's a little bit off in this one, I'll be honest with you. I think that Dober, the line, was it minus 330 for Nasrat? That's high. In my opinion, that's super high. I think that if you got him in the minus 200 range, I think that's not a bad bet. But, I mean, Dober's been around, fought some decent guys. I mean, you had Dariush. Who's the other guy that he fought that was actually pretty decent? That's going to ring out a little bit. Let me see. Oh, Maycee, who I think's okay. Holtzman, which I think's a good one to have on your record. Decent striker. Doesn't really jump out in many aspects, but he's very solid and he's a very tough guy to take out as well. When you look at Nasrat, I mean, he's making the right adjustments. I think he's at the right camp for him. He really came to light to me in that Diakese fight where he absolutely smashed Diakese, and then he's had a couple of really good wins. Gote, he should be beating a guy like that. Joaquim Silva, a beautiful counter hook, knocked out a very tough guy in that spot, and he's got himself another tough fight here. Dober's going to probably hit close to plus 300. Now, if you've got some change, that might not be the worst bet in the world, throwing a little bit of change on Drew Dober. I just think the combinations, his hand speed and the shot selection of Nasrat is going to be a little bit too much, and I think he's going to win pretty much a striking-based decision. But I think there's going to be spots where Dober can maybe land a decent shot. I like Nasrat Haqparast in this spot here, so I'm going to go with him here to take the win via decision. Andre Fili against Sodiq Yusuff is a fight that I have no idea why it's on the prelims here, but it is. But it's a really good fight. It's a banger of a fight. Always been a fan of Fili. I think that his style has really evolved over the years, but he never really stood out in one area. But now he seems to be really good in a lot of areas. He can get takedowns. His striking's came along where he's now knocking out people like Shimon Moraes, head kick, following up with punches, and is always a viable underdog in close fights. And Sodiq Yusuff had a great 2018 into 2019 where he won in Australia, beat Shimon Moraes, was a really close back and forward fight, and then he caught Shimon with a beautiful shot in the third round, really solidified that fight for him, and then he came out, took a few shots against Gabriel Benitez, who's very tricky with his kicks and so on, but caught him with a beautiful counter strike, absolutely put the lights out at the end of the first round. A super dangerous guy, next level power. If he lands on your chin, you will know about it. And we've seen Fili taken out before. I mean, he got blasted by Yair, who's predominantly a kicker. Well, not, I shouldn't really say he's a kicker because he's knocking guys out with elbows with seconds to go and stuff. But yeah, it's a tough fight for me to pick. I'm going to sit back, watch this fight, fan of both guys. Could go either way. If you're betting Fili, I would like a little bit more of a better number. But Sodiq Yusuff, I think -135. It's not a bad bet. It might come down a little bit as fight week kind of closes in, because like I say, this is early Friday morning. We have the fights next Saturday, so we've got a little bit of time there. I feel just a little bit more confident picking Sodiq Yusuff. I actually am going to pick him via knockout. I think that power is just going to be a little bit too much, and he knocks out Andre Fili at some point. I think he catches him with a nice shot and knocks him out. So Sodiq Yusuff via TKO in that one there. Roxanne Modaferri against Maycee Barber. I've been kind of running this over, like, this Roxanne really got this really, like, I think this is a good matchup for Maycee, but it should be a good fight for Maycee Barber. I mean, Roxanne Modaferri, very slow, very capable at being hit. Her kind of main way to win this fight is getting really the fight to the ground and keeping Maycee Barber there. But Maycee Barber's been working a lot with Ben Askren. She's been at Ruthless Sport, so she's been working on that. And she's got that next level striking where, well, not next level striking, but she's got that next level power in the women's division that if she hits you with a big shot, she pretty much just turns the lights out a little bit too much, and she kind of makes the girls quit. Where Gillian Robertson, she started taking shots and she just couldn't, she was trying to fire back, but the power coming from Maycee was just a little bit too much. Kevin was just saying there in the chat there that the odds are a little bit wide. I agree. I think Roxanne can maybe make it very, very difficult if she can get the fight to the ground and keep it there. It's just hard for me to see that happening. So I think Maycee's going to punish her with some shots. I think she's far too quick. I think she's far too powerful. And I think eventually she hits Roxanne with a shot, and probably in that first round, towards the end of the first, where she knocks her out. So I've got a TKO victory for Maycee Barber in the first round there. Main card time, Anthony Showtime Pettis against Carlos Diego Ferreira. You guys know I'm an Anthony Pettis fan, so maybe it's the fan in me speaking, thinking he's got a chance, but I kind of do think he has a chance in some spots. I really do, but it's hard to pick a guy that crumbles under any type of pressure, and he really does crumble under pressure. And I hate saying this because I am a fan of the guy, but he can potentially quit in fights, and I don't like that. And I mean, the odds are quite high for a former UFC champion, but when you look at Pettis' game, he looks to me like he's a very aging fighter. He looks to me like he's taking a lot of damage, can't really take all that much, and looks for the way out when things get a little bit tough. When you look at his game, not really a knockout guy with his punches, even though he knocked out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson with that punch off the cage, but predominantly a kicker, and very, very dangerous in that. If this fight was to go to the ground, I think he could hold his own with someone like Carlos Diego Ferreira. You can't sleep on Pettis on the ground, because he's seen that he can submit guys. I mean, he submitted Charles de Bronx, he submitted Melendez back in the day. Very dangerous on the ground, and I think if he was to keep it distance here and could pick his shots well and really pick like good body kicks, leg kicks, which Ferreira is definitely open to, then he could have some success. I think the pressure that Carlos Diego Ferreira brings could really stifle Anthony Pettis at some point in this fight. And once he starts to take over, I just don't see Pettis coming back into it. So it's whether you see Pettis maybe starting off well, doing well in the early exchanges, maybe the first round, maybe into the second, but can he maintain that? I think in some spots he can, but I'm just not going to trust Anthony Pettis with like I say, one of my big things this year, I think Anthony Pettis, I don't think he's going to be in the UFC by the end of the summer. I think he'll go to Bellator and look to make his cash over there, maybe have some easier matchups than he's having in the UFC, maybe some signature matchups over there in Bellator. But yeah, I love Anthony Pettis. I'm a big fan, but I just think this is a bad matchup. I think that Carlos Diego Ferreira comes out here, pressures him, could potentially break him. But I've got Carlos Diego Ferreira. I think initially I picked him via TKO. Could happen. I'm going to go via decision, so Carlos Diego for the win. Claudia Gadelha against Aleksei Grasso. Initially, I was on Aleksei Grasso, and then I started watching. It's pretty obvious the way you look at this fight. It's if Gadelha can get this to the ground, which I think she can, because Aleksei Grasso is Aleksei Grasso. I mean, she's a really good striker, but you can see that she lacks the takedown defense. She was working on it in that Esparza fight. She was trying really hard not to get taken down, but eventually she realised, like, I cannot stop this. I'm going to go to the ground, and she could have won that fight ultimately. When she's on the feet, she can box the head off a lot of the girls. She really, really could. But I kind of see Gadelha getting her down. Not unless Gadelha decides she wants to stand with her, which would just be silly. It really would be silly if she decides to do that. But I've got Gadelha winning the fight. I've got to see her winning the first 2 rounds, and then potentially having a really tough third round. So if any of these first 2 rounds are close, it could be one of these close split decision fights, which seem to happen with the ladies sometimes. Gadelha, I mean, she has taken a lot of damage. She has, her durability has definitely dropped, but I don't think it's dropped to the point where Grasso will come out here and knock her out. It could happen. We've seen that with Aldana, with Ferreira, who was a little bit really bad with her striking kind of offense last time. She was really, she kind of walked into that shot. She was just really asking to get countered, and she did. Like I said, initially I was on Grasso. I've kind of changed my stance in this one. I went with Gadelha. Like I said, no real confidence. In a fight that I'm kind of flip-flopping on, I'm not really going to be confident, but I'm going to go Gadelha to get takedowns in the first 2 rounds, predominantly have most of the fight on the ground and win rounds through that. Third round could be a little bit sketchy, but I've got Claudia Gadelha via decision now. Next up, Olinynk against Maurice Greene. Never been a super big fan of Maurice Greene. There's some people out there that are, which is a little bit weird. I thought Pavlovich was going to come out there and knock him out. It did. When you look at this one here, Greene can win the fight, definitely, because Olinynk's there to be countered, he's there to be hit. Maurice Greene really fights well with his striking, does well with his striking. He's overall a pretty decent guy, but the guys he's beaten in the UFC, I mean, your Jeff Greens and I think it was Junior Albini, maybe one of those guys as well. Not great wins to have in your resume. Olinynk, really awkward, obviously, with his submission game, but even with his striking game, where he kind of reaches in and he's got kind of underestimated power. We've seen that he's hurt a kind of few guys, but he's really open to taking shots. We know what Olinynk wants to do. He wants to try and just somehow get his hands on you and get you in a chance where he can get a choke, because he seems to find that everywhere, no matter where you are. If you're in the clinch, if you're on the ground, if he's on his back against the cage, he will find something, he will submit you. And Maurice Greene, to me, I think can make mistakes where he'll play into the game of Olinynk. If he doesn't, if he sits back, pops at distance, counters well, then I think he can absolutely knock out Aleksei Olinynk. I just feel more confident picking the old guy from Russia, who someone said he's got a cheat code with jiu-jitsu there. I agree with that there. So I'm going to pick Aleksei Olinynk to win via first round submission. I think he catches Maurice Greene in a position here that we're least expecting. He catches another one of these Ezekiel chokes or whatever. And yeah, I've got Aleksei Olinynk first round submission in that one there. Holm against Raquel Pennington. I've got Holm, not super confident really in any of the ladies' fights outside of Maycee Barber in this one here. I think they're tough fights to call. She's getting on, 38, 39 years old. This is a rematch of 5 years ago, UFC 184, where Holm won via split decision. That was close, but you can see she was super nervous coming into that fight. It was a big jump into a big promotion. Raquel Pennington at a time was she maybe in her pomp there, where she was maybe at the best, maybe not, because she went on to fight for a title. Let me see. No, so that was a while back actually, so I'm kind of talking at my backside with that one there. Obviously beat Jessica Andrade, and then went on a run, beat Miesha Tate, and then lost to Germaine de Randamie and Amanda Nunes. She got pieced up really badly against Germaine de Randamie. Amanda Nunes, it's what it is. She fought well over 4 rounds, wanted to quit. Buffo, what's happening, my man? Yeah, it's just that I want to pick Raquel Pennington, but it's like hard to be really super confident in Raquel Pennington. The Aldana fight, I thought she did edge it really, really close fight there. Yeah, a pass is probably the best thing for this fight. I'll not be betting. I'll be sitting back and getting ready for the main event. It's a little bit weird that this is the co-main event. I thought Pettis and Carlos Diego would have been that. So, yeah, I think that Holly Holm's going to obviously want to fight at distance. She doesn't really want to engage. I think if I'm Raquel Pennington, I try and get in, make it dirty, get takedowns, take her to the ground if possible. But I'm going to pick Holly Holm. I'm going to actually pick a split decision again. I think Rocky makes it close, but I think that Holly just does enough to win there. But it's a matchup I'm not super fussed about. But the pick will be Holly Holm via split decision in that one there. And now we are on to the main event. The return of the notorious Conor McGregor. I am really looking forward to seeing Conor back in the cage. No matter if you like the guy, you don't like the guy, he brings good and bad things to the sport. But when he fights, he brings a lot of eyeballs into it, and he is the biggest draw in the sport. There is no doubt about that. Is he the same guy a few years ago? I don't think he can be. I think that was a golden run which he had. Even in the loss to Diaz, followed up with the rematch, won that, even though he could have really lost that fight. It was a close one. Fought the best guy, probably the best lightweight there's ever been, in Khabib Nurmagomedov. I thought he looked good in the first round, but then Khabib just takes over, caught him with a beautiful shot, put him down, and then, like I say, as much as I'm a Conor McGregor fan, I think it's the guy can look for a way out. If you get him in positions where you've expended all his energy, and with Conor McGregor, I mean, he is a guy that comes out pressuring from the get-go, very first round, tries to corral you into that big left hand. And I was saying earlier on in another video I tried to make that the coaches are saying that Conor's got a big left hand and one round in him, which I don't think is true. I think Conor's got more to his bow, more strings to his bow than that. But to be honest with you, he does come out super hard. He can gas himself out. I'd love to see this at 155. I just think Cerrone would have depleted himself so much trying to make that weight. Conor just said he didn't want to make that weight, so they're fighting at 170. But yeah, what I like about McGregor is his feints, his angles, his footwork, and he corrals you into that big shot, which is that left hand, which he doesn't really. No matter if he comes into the shot, obviously you want the guy to move into your big left hand, but even if you're moving out to your right hand side, he can still catch you at the end of those shots. He's did it with Brandao, he's did it with Mendes, he's did it with a lot of guys. He has got some massive power, and if he catches you, then he could put you to sleep very early. And someone like Cowboy, who's a slow starter, pretty weak to the body, he can get hurt, absolutely. But people are writing off Cerrone just a little bit too much. He's going to be the bigger guy here. He's a decent striker himself. If he comes out quick, he could give McGregor problems. He's obviously got the far better jiu-jitsu game. If he gets it to the ground, it's hard to see him getting there, but he has got some reactive takedowns. You see it in the Rick Story fight. You see it in, I think it's the Paul Kelly fight from years ago. And there might have been other ones in there as well. Mike Perry, he can get into positions where he can get the fight to the ground, and if he does, super dangerous. Will rip an arm off, will put you in a triangle. But like you say, slow starter, a very upright stance, can be really hit with shots. His durability is obviously waning a little bit because he's starting to get taken out by guys, but he is losing to the best guys. I mean, your Gaethjes, Tony Ferguson. So he's not being beat by bums. He's not, when he fights those lower caliber guys, he beats their ass. Perez, Hernandez. I'm not saying they're low caliber guys, but they're not top 15 guys in my opinion. He will go through guys like that, and he did that. Usually when he fights top 5 guys, he struggles with big time. That's a given. Is McGregor a top 5 guy? I still think he is, but I definitely don't think he's the same McGregor that we had a few years ago, the kind of magic McGregor from 2014, 15, 16, whenever that was, around that kind of era there, which was golden for him and obviously the UFC. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to see Cerrone winning the fight. I would love to see, if he comes through this first round and he's still there, still intact, hasn't taken any big damaging shots, this is going to get interesting. And I think that Cerrone, the longer the fight goes, the more it'll benefit him. Obviously a very dangerous kicker. He's got the most kick knockouts in the UFC, so if this fight, it's interesting to me because people are writing off Cerrone so quick, and I can see why, because Conor could absolutely spark him inside the first 5 minutes. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But if he doesn't, it gets interesting. Now, he could knock him out any time because Conor's got big power with that left hand specifically. And if he does catch him with a decent shot, he will put him out. But don't write off Cowboy. The line, like, minus 300, I hate that line for Conor McGregor. I see it's a good matchup for him. But minus 300 to me, nah, I don't like it one bit. I think Cowboy's a game fighter if it goes late. If he can start quick, it's going to be interesting. It's hard for me to get off Conor McGregor in this spot. If you're taking Donald Cerrone, more props to you. Whether you hate McGregor, whatever, whether it's just because you don't want to pick Conor McGregor, then albeit. But me looking at it, I'm a fan of Conor McGregor. It's pretty obvious I'm a fan. I've got a picture of the guy in my room, signed stuff everywhere. Don't like what he's did outside of the cage, but when it comes into him watching a fight, I think that he's box office. He is box office, and I will watch wherever the guy fights. So, but yeah, I'm happy to see Cowboy get a fight of this magnitude. Hopefully, he's making some fairly decent money. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I'm going to pick Conor McGregor. I'm going to pick him via first round knockout. Like I say, I think he catches him with a big shot, and yeah. But I want to see Cowboy take this late. I do. I want to see Cowboy really push McGregor, and let's see if McGregor's like really got the fight in him to come in here and really want to get back to that top of that 155 division. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd like to see that. So that's my picks. Second time of trying this, guys. I don't know what happened the first time. There was no comments. There was no live chat. Appreciate everybody that's been in the chat there. I really do. Because I was missing out. I want to hear everybody's opinions on fights and so on. Good to see everybody in there. If you're late into it, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm going to try and get as close to 4,000 subs. I think I'm going to struggle to get anywhere near that this year, but hopefully I can. Looking forward to really kids chat, so wasn't available. Alright, I didn't even know about that. My bad. I'll have to look into that before. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate everybody. I'll be back for the UFC rally card, which is Junior Dos Santos against Curtis Blades. Do a live reaction video for 246. I actually might do that. I might do a reaction video depending if I can keep awake, because I have to be up with my daughter early Sunday morning. So keep an eye out. There's a good chance that if I'm up, I will probably do a reaction video. Live reaction video, me just doing this while watching the fight. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you win big next weekend, and all the very best. Cheers.